Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy. I ain't got to set up no more. I got my little logo, my new merchandise, right thinking hoodies. I got my little stuff going here, so I don't have to raise up to show you the eye. Got the eye right there, and it's on my pants. So about to get the hat. So I'm about to be right thinking down. Okay, so that's my apparel. I got merchandise to sell. Anybody interested? You know the deal. Let's go. So I'm out here doing what I do for you. My new logo. Let's go. Right, 25 we live by storytelling. Story with a message. Message and story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receive them. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Appreciate you too. You know what we do. Right thinking, mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is where right through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, that all right thinkers know thyself. Right thinkers' goal is to know thyself. So we work together to get this done. I'm here to do what I do for you. You tune in and get them, and you'll be able to do it too. Know thyself. Let's go. The question I ask, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have an answer, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows and knows, or excuse me, person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right? Think to know thyself and to my yacht be true. I was asked a question. Now I like this question. So I'm going to give it to you. Right? Think. Let's talk about who is God. Everybody has a concept or understanding for themselves, and that's what I tell you. If it's 9 billion people, it's 9 billion ways to get to God. But the question is, who is God? I'm gonna give you a quick physics concept and start with that, and then we're gonna work our way to the spiritual and the ancient Egyptian concept of God. We call them netters, okay? But let's go. Let's start with physics. Ancients had physics. Okay, watch this. Now, the meaning of the word physics is to the study of what? The composition of nature. They're studying God. God is nature. The word nature comes from the ancient Latin word natura. Natura. The word natura originates, watch this, in Egypt. Words netter, there you go, meant God. Netter, God, plural, all encompassing. Netters meaning manifestations of God. So you got netter, God, and netteru, God's manifestations. Again, one God, everything after him is his manifestation. So understand that. So start with, did he got many gods? Yeah, conceptually, but still just one. We keep trying to explain that to you. I do, but I know the difference. But it's God manifestations. Watch this. In principles and aspects. Watch this. Now, the early Greek students, I was one of physics. No, I didn't do physics. I did mythology. But such as Thales and Democritus learned what? The science of the study of God. There you go. From who? The Egyptian masters. I spent 10 years learning Greek mythology. They never mentioned Greek. They never mentioned Egypt. So they learned from the Egyptian masters who what? Who instructed them, you ready? To know thyself. I knew that phrase from the Greeks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I have a good understanding of know thyself, what it means. That's why I took it as my mantra. Why? Because it covers the whole spectrum of every individual. And if you know yourself, you know every aspect of your character and your personality. So he laid it all out for you. That's the beginning. That's just how to start. That's gaining knowledge of what? Something that you don't understand, but you can gain knowledge of it by listening, learning, and what? Manifested for yourself. That's what know thyself is all about. And so watch this. Now, since, again, each human being is a netter. Try to calm down. That means we're gods in the flesh. All of us. Why? The spirit that's in us is God. We just in the flesh. That's all. But we're still gods. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So watch this. Each human being is a netter. What? A manifestation of God in the flesh. Not just Jesus God you're talking about. Please understand. If you're going to call him God, we all got to get the same title. The most direct way, watch this, the most direct way to know God, netter, aka is what? Is to study God's manifestation, aka netter, the elements, okay, the cosmology of the beginning, how to begin. That's how you get to know God. That's when I get to the next page. I'm going to show you, break it down for you. This is the physics that they can tell you how to manifest or understand God's manifestation through what? Nature. They call it netteru. And netter, oneself, watch this, because netteru cannot exist without what? Without being sustained at what? At every moment by the original netter, which is the spirit that's in us. A body with no spirit is dead. Therefore, netter, watch this, can be found in netteru, me and you, aka Aru. See how that step fall in there? Okay. It is only due to what? The rampant and untrained thought processes that control the direction of the mind that what? That God netter is not perceived by us ignorant netteru. Therefore, what? The body of netter through what? Netters manifestations of netter manifestations in netteru, meaning more than one, requires, listen, requires the mastery of our thought faculty. Knowing thyself, controlling your emotion, controlling the thought process, all that falls into the same category. And what's this? Tahuti, again, the brain, the mind of God, they tell you. And the understanding of what? Laws by which what? Nature exists. You want to know who that is? My girl. Maya. I read to you about the Memphite mythology and theology concept, which they had back in 5000 BCE. What happened? We learned that the netters are what? In reality, here again, the myriad of forms which Ptah, Alman, Ra Ptah, Ptah meaning the physical, self-creating one, where Ptah, what? The God assumes what? Therefore, the idea of explaining the physical world was set forth in terms of principles, tendencies, principles, aka netters, which represented by what? Objects, personalities, or animals which exhibit and exemplify certain characteristics and tendencies that are what? Found where? In nature, as well as where? In human beings. This differs from what? The traditional Western view of explaining the physical material world in terms of it being concrete, absolute reality, and composed of elements. Because, watch this, according to the ancient scripture, here we go, there is only one element that exists. Periodic chart, don't need that. What? God. Stop right there. So through philosophical, there we go. Now you're going to put it in words. Through philosophical examination and modern scientific experimentation, that idea of the world being an absolute reality is found to be what? What do you think? Illusory, like we said. Thus, the laws of existence by which the physical universe manifests and works is what is understood as, you ready? Interactions of what? Opposites, aka duality. The interaction of opposites, but complementary principles. Remember, Haru, set, lower, upper, nation, lower self, higher self. That's what's been in effect since beginning of time. So I try to get that to you. And the Egyptian concept of the dynamic principles in nature was contained in the diagram to show you 5000 BCE. And that what? It contained the principles of creation. Again, elements: air to breathe, fire, the sun, earth that we live on, water to survive. So these are elements. Nature, not man, not human. Nature that works because of what? On God's command. They function off of God's command. And watch this. And the basic mechanism by which they interact, again, by God's command. You got hot, you got to have cold. Duality. You got wet, okay? You got hot, cold, wet, dry. See, we're going with that opposite. Again, opposites. And the qualities are further elaborated in, watch this, cosmogonies as outlined on page, I did all that. But in the next, watch this, in this text, where creation is seen as a what? An elaborate interaction of complementary opposites, rules, principles, okay, nature laws. Similar ideas are found where? In India. The Ayurvedic medicine at 1000 BCE with the 5 elements or principles in their nature. They use earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Again, now in Chinese, the idea of the two opposites, we know that to be yin and the yang. We call it male and female. Same thing. Which arose from the ultimate what? One. Again, even the Tao. And the what? The 5 elements: wood, metal, fire, earth, and air. In the 1050 ACE, this was their concept. Okay, now let's try to get to the concept of the Egyptian physics, basics. There's 5 laws. Watch this. Simple. It's going to go from 5 to 1. Number 5, netters. Netters, creation of elements: air, fire, water, earth. Different objects, watch this, with name and form arise because of what? The interaction of different elements, which are themselves what? Composed of the same thing, consciousness, pure. Okay? Creation of what? The qualities of matter: hot, cold, wet, dry. See where we're going with that? That's physics, that's nature, etc. That's physics. The physical and astral universe, watch this, which is composed of what? Matter and various degrees of vibrational existence, from gross, solid, lower frequencies to what? The more subtle wave, higher frequencies. Lower physical, the higher you get more subtle. That's why it's all mental. Okay, this next one, number 4, atom, ATOM. Under the direction of who? Ptah, God. Atom creates what? All things. All things are atoms. Watch this. Netters qualifies of what? Matter. Atom, the what? Watch this. An atom is the willpower to create, who is both what? Male and female. Does the will of Ptah of the mind. Again, it starts with the mind, the thought. Number 3, you hear about the noon. You hear about the watery abyss. You hear about time before time. The noon was formed matter. Watch this. It just was devoid of what? Will to become anything in particular, but the possibility to become anything. Like a person who don't know their worth. They just don't know their self-value. So they just pretty much do nothing. Nothing going on. You can't get nothing. But if they were to start manifesting, producing, that's what Ra came from, the noon. They trying to show you that was a state of nothingness, devoid of anything, until, watch this, Ptah decided to come into existence. And watch this. Number 2, Ptah Haru. Mind consciousness. Watch this. Does what? Your mind, your conscious creates 100% matter through what? Thought. First, condensed matter, which is the new, the unformed matter, energy, with nothing but potential, right? That's the new. Just sitting there, just waiting. Now, the number one, netter, we know it's nameless, we know it's hidden, we know it's formless. We know it's self-existent, created self. It's a self-existent being, intangible, beyond, again, time and space. Next level. Pure what? Again, consciousness. Intelligence. Underlying and supporting of all matter. It creates everything out of itself. That's the concept. That's what they're saying. Now let's get to the part. I hope that's the physics part. Now let's get to the creation part where it says, who is God? Here's the picture. This is what they had. You got two forms of God for them. See that stick right there? Okay. To them, that's God. And the other matter, let me get this out the way first. Let me read what they said. The portions from the Egyptian book are coming forth by day. All right. This is what the concept is about God. It says, who is God? That's the question. Netter, meaning one. Netteru, meaning his manifestation. Right? Now, under that, it says, God and creation. Netter, God. Netteru, creation. That's what's defining. The top part, the bottom part is telling you God, netter, creation, netteru. And it shows you netter. Now, let's read their philosophical. Remember, God's just a title. God and God is a title representing who we believe to be all-encompassing, all-knowing, all-conscious, the absolute. So there's really no name. There's just a bunch of titles. So understand, we use God, netter. God is the father of beings. Okay. God is the eternal one and infinite and endures forever. Alpha and Omega. These are all titles. These are all understanding God. No man has been able to seek out God's likeness. So we have to formulate a concept that we can all rely on, and the stick would represent of God for the ancient Egyptians. And I'll break that down to you as we go in a few minutes. Watch this. But God is, again, hidden. Amen. It means the hidden one. To God's amen. Again, even his nature, his offspring don't know him conceptually. God's name what remains hidden. He go by Myron, Ali, Allah, Buddha. Everybody got a name that they can call God, and he don't mind. Why? It ain't what you call him. It's how you worship him. That's the difference. And he remains hidden. Now, it is a mystery to his children, men, women, and gods. God's name are, again, immutable, manifold, and no one knows their number. Why? Because everybody got a different name for them. Through God, watch this, though God can be seen, really? What? How? In form and observation of what? Of God can be made at what? God's appearance. What you talking about? God cannot be understood. Nope. Can't comprehend him. Watch this. God also cannot be seen with mortal eyes. Ain't gonna see him. You got to earn that. You got the one that sees spiritual. That's the one that will see God. Watch this. God is invisible and inscrutable to gods as well as men who don't release the veil or lift the veil of ignorance to know themselves. But they used the stick. They said the one in the coffin. Okay, they laid it down. Yellow, green, and blue. Yellow for the sun, green for the earth, blue for the sky. That was the colors they had wrapped around the stick. But they also had a different concept about God. Now, let's talk about creation. This is before creation. When the creation started, God is signified by the dot and the circle. 360 circle. In order to make it, we have to have a compass. As the Masonic guys, we use the ruler, the gavel, common gavel, 12-inch ruler, the compass, and the square to lay out our work, measure it, and make good work. But we as Masons, use it for more, because once you learn the esoteric meaning behind those tools, how to use them esoterically, you use them for what we call a more noble and glorious purpose, meaning it's going to make you a better person. You're building yourself to be a better person. That's the Masonic concept. I know that very well, and it works to a degree. Again, like religion, if practice and follow, it worked. I proved that too. Now let's talk about the creation. See right here? See the dot under creation? That's God's creation. That's God. He's going to what? Circumscribe himself in due bounds, so everything is going to be in his domain. You never know. He's never out of place. He's never off balance. You'll see. He's always centered. That's to be you. That's you. You got to center yourself and circumscribe your world around yourself. That's what God did. We just part of it. Hopefully you understand that. That's concepts. Let's talk about creation right quick. Whoa. Whoa. I know. Man, let me tell you. Whoa. I know. This thing is getting too fast. Now let's talk about creation. I'm gonna give you a quick paragraph and I'm gonna shut it down and come back to the next lesson. All right, let's go. Creation. The creator is seen as a dot. Okay, with all the potential to do and be anything. Ain't that what we tell ourselves? The origin of all things, and seen and unseen. The origin of countless bodies, aka spirit, souls, meaning immutable, individual. Every human being has a body. Okay, pure, potentially non-dual. There are no pairs of opposite, male or female, in existence yet. God existed. Everything comes from the one. He was alone. Keep making that point. That's the dot. Dot is singular. In the ego, I try to explain to you, the ego is on its own because of what? It edged God out. It don't have the concept of God. All it has itself. So ego people, moving on, that's the concept. But when God, watch this, from the center, which is where he starts, worked itself outward to what? The creator, amen, projected itself onto itself. Picture that. That's the concept I'm trying to get you to understand. And watch this. Now, at the time of creation, the outer circle, the cosmos, is created. He built it around himself. That's the concept. That's why I keep trying to get you to understand that. Now you have what? Time and space have come into being. Literally. Y'all call it the Big Bang. No, it's happening now. Now happens. Why? This is the aura of God. Now, the receiving female part, the dot, may now be what? Referred to as the Lord, Father, male, God, etc. And now creation may be called the goddess, what? The mother, the female aspect. They go together. Dot, the male, circle, the female. See where we're going with this? Now, when creation is created, from what? The one. An apparent division. Watch this. An apparent division occurs. Now, there exists what? Two principles. A coin. You can't have a one-sided coin. Got heads and tails. That's the concept. So moving on. One thing, two different sides. One is head, one is tail. Opposites, but equal. Okay. Thus, watch this. Now these encompass the notion of what? Again, duality. Hence, male, female, yin, yang, up, down, in, out. Mover and move. Viver and vivifier. Positive and negative. Giver and receiver. All together in one body called the all. The absolute. That's how you define it. If it's all that, you can call it the all. That's what the end does. Okay. You got one part give the life force, and the other receives the life force, and then returns it back to what? The source in a perpetual cycle. Okay, excuse me. Yeah. Okay. The figure 8. Okay, the infinity. Reciprocity, it gives out and receives, so it can constantly go on and on. The cycle won't stop. This cycle goes, excuse me, goes nowhere. The sun travels across the earth, traverses into the figure eight. Okay, another lesson, but yeah. When you have perpetual cycle, it's giving and taking. It ain't just going around and around. It's got to give and take in order for it to perpetuate. And watch this. Nothing is gained or nothing is lost. He can multiply himself by the billions and don't add nothing. He can lose himself by the billions and don't miss nothing. That's bad. You're a bad man, God. Conceptually, and that's what it's all about. You're supposed to understand that concept. Now, it ain't about God looking like this, God being that. No, you got to have an understanding the principle and the concepts of God. That's what God is. It's the concept. It's mental, theological concept. Once you get understanding of Him, once you manifest the knowledge of Him, now you're good to go. That's being the God servant. Why? You know for yourself what you can do to get blessings from God. Once you experience it, mystical experience, put the work in, practice, live right, virtuous lifestyle, spiritual discipline daily will get you there. Let's go. Almost done with this lesson. I got to come back. There's a lot of information here. So, oh Lord. All right. Now the cosmos and everything in it, including what? All living beings. That means us. On planets and planes of existence. Again, that means us are what? Really one supreme being. What? Viewed as separate entities by our conditioned mind to see things a certain way. They are still what? One whole. This symbol is called Ra. Dot in a circle. The sun disk, okay? Symbolized, again, is seen in almost every yantra symbolic diagram containing what? Mystical knowledge, often used for what? Meditation. In Indian, Hindu, and the Tantra religious mythologies, it is known as the Bindu seed, primordial origin of all things. They put the little Bindu dot in their head. They give it reverence to God in their ways. That's their concept. That's the lesson. Oh, I'll be back. Right thinkers, remember in closing, may you all let it be 100, be 100 minus a day. So I never knew that right thinker like you passed away. I'll be back.